Welcome to Hustle and Flow with Heather Hubbard, episode 145. Hi, I'm Heather Hubbard, and I was a litigator, partner, and practice group leader at an AmLaw 200 firm. I know what it takes to rise to the top. I also know all too well the toll it can take on your personal life. So how do you shine bright without burning out? How do you embrace your ambition without selling your soul? You're listening to the Hustle and Flow podcast. Welcome back. I am your host, Heather Hubbard. And today, if you're listening to this on the day that it was released, this is the very last day of the decade. And then tomorrow is the new year, as well as the new decade. So very exciting day for us planners and achievers and those who really get into this time of year for planning. Now, I know some of you already have your plans, right? You already know your goals, maybe they're resolutions, and you are ready to go. So for you, today's episode is going to help set you up to make sure, one, you actually have the right goals and resolutions to begin with, but two, you have some really strong success strategies to make sure that you stay the course and achieve them. And for those of you who have been so busy with the holidays and whatever else, and you're like, I don't even have my plan together. Perfect. No problem. This episode is going to be really helpful for you in identifying what your goals should be to begin with. That said, I highly encourage you to go watch, to participate, to take a free webinar that I did for you guys. So last year we did the planning extravaganza. I don't know if you remember this, but it was 4 days. We had worksheets, we had emails, and then I would jump on a Facebook Live every day to help you work through your plan. This year, we're doing it a little bit differently. So instead of the Facebook Lives for a week or even a live webinar, because I totally get that at this time of year, you are enjoying the holidays, you're doing other things, and everybody wants to really dig into their planning at different times. So I went ahead and recorded it, and it is on demand for you. So you can watch it anytime that is convenient for you. It is the same process as before, and it has worksheets to go with it. You can pause if you need to. So it's a free resource. It doesn't cost you anything. It is my gift to you to help you plan for the new year. So to watch that, to get all of those materials for free, all you have to do is go to planningextravaganza.com, planningextravaganza.com, and we will put a link to that in the show notes. And if you already have your goals and resolutions, it's okay. You can go back and watch it too, just to make sure you are set up and ready to go. It's a lot of fun, and we literally walk you through step by step the process to consider when setting your goals. And they're not just your business or your professional goals. It's also your life. I am a huge proponent of making sure that everything is integrated because we don't live compartmentalized lives. That's just not how things are anymore. Between phones and just being, on call 24/7, that's not how it works. And it makes your life so much more enjoyable when you really plan for everything as a whole. So go check it out. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, let's get to the success strategies for staying the course and reaching your New Year goals and resolutions this year. So I have 3 success strategies. And the first one is to make sure that when you are tackling a goal, when you are tackling a resolution, that it is about focusing on and improving your strengths, not your weaknesses. That's right. A lot of people struggle with this because you might be thinking, well, crap, Heather, my resolutions relate to things that I really suck at, right? Like I want to lose weight or, anything like that. We tend to think about the things that we've been doing wrong or that we're not good at, and we need to get our stuff together because it's the new year, right? Like, this is the year I'm going to get it together. And I hear you, but that's not a great success strategy. Because when you're focused on something that you're not good at, right? Or you're focused on something that doesn't come easy to you or natural to you, it is going to be an uphill battle. It's going to be an uphill battle in terms of discipline, because when you're doing something that, maybe you don't even enjoy, but it feels difficult for you, you have to have a lot of discipline. And for most of us, we don't have that much discipline. And so that's what it becomes about. And that feels very heavy and very hard. And it's why so many people give up. It's hard to, put it into their daily routine. And the other part of that, why it's an uphill battle, is because depending on what the weakness is, you are really just trying to change a habit. And if you've not listened to the episode from last New Year, you need to, because we talked about what all is required to change your habits, because it's not just a matter of willpower and mindset. It is neurological. And it was episode 99. We did that on January 1 of last year, episode 99, Changing Your Habits. That's not easy. It's not easy because you have literally wired your brain such that you already have a habit, right? So you're not just trying to create a new habit, you're trying to undo an old habit. And it's really, really hard. It doesn't mean it can't be done, but it's an uphill battle. And you kind of need to understand the science behind it so that you know what you're getting yourself into. It's also going to be an uphill battle because you're not going to see easy wins. And you may be thinking, well, why is that important? Well, for many people, we need to see those wins in order to feel motivated to keep going. Now, if you go all in for a little bit, you might see some wins, right? But I even think of like weight loss. You might see easy wins to begin with. I don't. I have stopped seeing easy wins. I used to could see easy wins, but apparently with age, that doesn't work. And it definitely, I think, also depends on your sex, because my husband can just think about starting a diet or going to the gym and he loses weight. And then we can do the exact same things and he will lose 10 pounds in a week and I'm still at the exact same weight. So I'm getting a little bit distracted, but it really is annoying that being a woman who is aging, what in the world? It makes it very difficult. So, either you may not see those easy wins to begin with, or you have them and then you quickly hit a plateau. And for most of us, we tend to be motivated by seeing results, especially when it's something that is difficult for us, right? So if you're focusing on your weaknesses, then if you're not going to see easy wins and you're not going to see them consistently over time, it's going to be really difficult for you to stick with it, because the desire with the new year, right, to go after it tends to fade as you get really busy with your day-to-day life if you're not seeing those results. So focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. And that doesn't mean that you should never focus on a weakness, right? Like if it's really important for your health to focus on, losing weight or getting healthier, that doesn't mean like it shouldn't be a goal at all, right? But if the vast majority, or even more than one, of your goals or resolutions relate to things where you struggle or you see it as a perceived weakness, you are setting yourself up for disappointment and possibly failure. And I want you to succeed, right? This is a success strategy. So just check in and make sure that the vast majority, if not all of your goals and resolutions, are really just ways to double down on what you're already good at, what's already working, because that is what's going to help you skyrocket your success and have a more enjoyable life. We tend to think, if I just fix these, weaknesses, everything would be fine. But it's actually really hard to fix weaknesses. And if you just double down on your strengths and make those your goals and resolutions, you will be amazed, one, at how quickly you can get results, but two, how it's just easy for you, may not even require that much discipline, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, success strategy number 2. Make sure that your goals and your resolutions are based on what you want. They are true desires. They're not just things that you think you should be doing. And what goes along with that is your goals and resolutions really need to be something where you're really, really ready. It's not just a matter of wanting the results, because it's really easy to want the results, but not bad enough to put in the work to get the results. I see and hear this all the time. People will say they're going to change something, they're going to do something, and it's because they want that outcome, right? Like they want the end result. But when you start asking them, how much time they're willing to dedicate to it, the types of things they're willing to do to go after it, which might include, facing some fears or dealing with some mindset, they don't want to do those things, right? Like they're not really willing to commit that much time or energy or focus or do the hard things. And so that tells me they don't really want it. They want the results, but not really, really. Because if you really want it, then you'll put in the work. So the reason why this is a success strategy is because if you don't want it bad enough to put in the work, or it's something that you just think you should be doing, and so you're doing it out of guilt or obligation, the likelihood of you sticking with it is really low. Really low. So make sure that you are focusing only on those things that you truly desire and that you desire them so much that you are willing to put in the work. And I didn't mean for this episode to be all about weight loss or health, but that tends to be like the most common goal or resolution at the beginning of every year. So, it's on my mind. I'm sure it's on many of your minds as well. But I discussed this with my guest, Una Duncan, back in October. So if you're wanting to actually work on your health, you might want to go back and check out that episode. It was episode 133. And we talked about healthy habits and what's required to actually change your eating and exercise behaviors. She's got a book. It's really, really good. So yeah, you might want to go check out her stuff on that. But we were talking about this concept of if you just simply do it because you think you should, but you're not really committed, like you're not going to do it. So let yourself off the hook, even if you know you have to, right? Like even if you know, I need to be doing this for my health. I need to be doing this for my kids, right? Like you might know all the reasons why you should be doing something. But if you aren't willing, if you know you're not in a place where you're really ready to do the work, like just let it go. Let yourself off the hook for now because the end result is still going to be the same. If you're not really in it and you know you're not committed to doing the work, you're not going to see change. It's not going to happen. And so why not go ahead and let it go so that you're not dealing with the emotional energy and space that it's going to take up trying to do something that's not actually going to happen in the end. And then you're just going to feel even more upset with yourself and you're going to feel even more guilty, all that stuff. Why set yourself up to deal with it when you can just go ahead and let it go and say, you know what, when I really am committed, when I really know I am going to do it, then I'll go all in. So permission to let it go if you know you're not going to really do the work because your result is going to be the same. And people push back on that with me all the time. They're like, yes, but I have to do it. Okay, check in with me in 3 months. And of course they don't because they didn't actually follow through. And then they're beating themselves up. And that's what I want you to avoid. Okay. So if you think you should do it, but you're not really willing to go all in, then just go ahead and let that go. And instead, go all in on what you truly want, what really fires you up, what you really desire, what you want so much that you're willing to put in the hard work required to get it. Okay. So I'm not saying like throw everything out the window. My guess is you have some goals and resolutions that you are really pumped about, where you really do want those results. And that's going to be your success strategy, is focusing on those first and foremost. You guys, great news. The 2020 planners, project pad, and bookmarks are finally here. More than a typical planner, it is a complete planning system that will revolutionize the way you approach your days, weeks, months, and years. It will help you achieve your biggest goals and work on that to-do list so that you can take back your day and focus on what matters most. Get yours now at lifeandlawplanner.com. And the other reason why you should be focusing on your desires and not just what you think you should be doing is because once you achieve the result, like let's say that, even though you're not all in it, you still do the work and you get the result. Well, at the end of the day, if you get the result and it doesn't actually bring you joy or happiness or peace or some other feeling, that improves, your life, then what was the point? Like, why put in all the time, effort, and energy if it doesn't make you happier at the end of the day? And if you've not listened to episode 142 from earlier in this month, definitely go listen to it. If you've got time to do some planning, binge listen to all these episodes, come do the webinar. You are going to be so set up for 2020. So that episode was The Joy is in the Journey, and it was the opening keynote from my 2-day live event that I had in Miami in November to help everyone, that attended to prepare for 2020. And I talked about this concept of why we try to achieve things to begin with, right? Like why we're trying to achieve a goal. And if you get really honest and clear about why you're trying to do something, you will find that many of your goals or resolutions, they're not going to actually get you what you think it's going to get you, because you think, oh, if I change this, if I finally achieve this, I'll be happy. I mean, isn't that why we try to change things? Isn't that why we try to go after goals? But if you've ever achieved something and it certainly did not make you happy, it didn't really change anything, you understand this concept of it's really important to make sure that you're going after the right things for the right reasons so that you do more than just achieve the goal. It's something that enhances your life. Okay? So that's success strategy number 2. And then the third success strategy is to focus. And I don't just mean focus in the day-to-day. I am a huge proponent of focus. I think this is how we achieve a ton of things in life. But what I mean by focus in this context is to focus on just a few, potentially even one, goal or resolution that is most important to you. So at the new year, this is the time when most people really start to think about all the things that they want to be different or that they want to change. And I used to do this. So it would be like, okay, this is the year that I'm finally going to get my finances in order. I'm going to have a budget and we are going to stick to that budget. So I am going to I'm going to read a book in January, and then in February, I'm going to pull out all my stuff and I'm going to create the budget. And then in March, we'll start going towards the budget. And then we're going to save all this money and pay down all this debt, right? Like we're going to do all that. That's just one thing. The second thing that we're going to do is really get in front of our health, right? So we're going to go to the gym, we're going to walk, we're going to run, we're going to do all these things. We're going to eat healthy. We're, going to prep our food on Sundays. And then, oh my goodness, this is the year that I really want to read more books. So I'm going to read at least one book a month. And, I really want to spend more time with friends and family this year, meaningful time with friends and family. So I'm going to make sure that, we're eating dinner every single night together as a family, at least 4 nights a week. And I'm going to do at least one date night a month. Oh, let's make that every other week. And I want to meet with my friends. Yes, I'm going to have lunch or cocktails or something with my friends at least once a month as well, if not more. And it goes on and on and on, right? We have these thoughts of all the things that we're suddenly going to do in the new year. And, you might be chuckling because you've already got these dreams for 2020. And you might also be chuckling because yeah, I came up with these ideas in the past and we all know what happens. It doesn't, because that is a heck load of change that you're adding on to your already busy life and your habits, right? You've already got the habits and the routines. So if you try to do too much, if you try to go after all the goals, all the resolutions, you're going to make all the changes, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I have to say, and I don't want to call anyone out, because whatever works for you, do it, right? So if this works for you, do it. But there are a lot of people out there, some very famous, gurus in the goals space, we'll just call them that, where they want you to take stock of every single aspect of your life and do all of these things that you're working on, right? You're focusing on all of these different areas all at the same time. And it's bull crap. You can't focus on all of those things at the same time. I mean, it's really, in my mind, it's just hope marketing. They build up this belief that you're going to finally make everything important and everything a priority. And it's the year that you're really going to care about all of these things and fix all of these things. And they say how they do it, but I'm pretty sure they have so much help that they're not actually doing that much of it themselves, or they're not actually doing all those things. They're just saying they are. But anyway, don't get me on my soapbox. Again, if you can do all that and that works for you, great. But it doesn't happen for most people. And then all it does is it makes you feel bad when you weren't able to do all the things. So if you don't want to set yourself up for failure this year, if you want a really good, strong success strategy, just pick a few things. Just pick a few things. What is most important to you this year, during this season of your life? And this kind of goes back to, if you've looked at other people's stuff where they've got all the areas and they say, you have to have certain things, you have to have a focus in every area. Well, what if it's not that important to you? And this goes back to number 2, which is the desire, not the should. Don't let anyone tell you what you should care about or what should be a priority for you to live, a good life. Don't let them do it. You choose what is a priority for you, and it says nothing about you, okay? It says nothing about you. So don't even let the judgment and the guilt, the shame, all that stuff come into play. Pick what's most important to you. If you're focusing on your strengths mostly, maybe you got one weakness, one habit you're trying to fix, and then you're focused on what you really, really want, their desires, and you get narrowed in on the most important ones. Oh my gosh, I promise you'll be able to knock it out of the park. You're going to be able to reach your goals and your resolutions for the year. And it might be the first time you've ever done that. And you're going to be amazed at how easy it was and how truly successful you can be when you focus on these strategies. So I encourage you to only focus on 1 to 3 things at a time. I get a lot of pushback on this as well, because people will be like, but I have to focus on these things. But you can't. You won't. The bigger one is you won't. So why not go ahead and set yourself up for success? It's really hard to put a lot of time, energy, and effort towards multiple things. You might make a little bit of progress on each if you truly move forward. But if you focus on 1 or 2, and that's where you spend all of your time and energy, the extra time and energy on, that you're setting aside for goals and resolutions, then you're going to start to get results faster. You're going to feel good about what you're doing, and you're going to set yourself up for success. So, if in the past you've always done lots and it's not worked, even if you disagree with this strategy, why not test it out? Just see what's the worst that could happen, right? If what you've been doing before hasn't been working, it'd be a little silly to just keep sticking with it because in your own mind, that's the way you think it has to be done. So if you're focusing on just a few things, and again, permission granted to just focus on 1, especially if you've struggled in the past to stick with goals or resolutions, go ahead and give yourself permission to set yourself up for success. One quick story that actually kind of ties all of this together And I posted about this on social media. So if you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, you may have already seen this. The algorithms, they don't always push everything out. So you may not have. My handle for all of those is at Heather Joy Hubbard. But I received a call in, I think it was, I don't know, maybe September, October. I don't remember, but it was sometime in the fall. And I never answer my phone because I just always assume it's spam or it's going to be some kind of distraction. Like I try to, get in the zone when I'm doing my work. But for some reason, like I just picked it up. I thought I should pick that up. And it was a former client. So I don't know the exact timing, but I think we had wrapped up working together maybe at the end of the previous year. And so he called me and he said, Heather, I just have to tell you, thank you, because everything that we worked on is coming true. He said, that vision board that you made me do that I resisted and did not want to do, and you basically made me. I was like, yeah. He was like, I still look at it every day and it's all coming true. Like it's all there. He goes, when I created it, one, I didn't know what it all meant. And two, it didn't seem realistic or achievable. He said, and now it's so meaningful and like it's all coming true. All right. So if you've not listened, last week's episode was a bonus and it's on creating a vision board. So that's a really cool thing that you can do for the new year too. So he was like, I've kept the vision board. It's all coming true. And two, he said, you told me that I was focusing on the wrong things, that I was focusing on my weaknesses, not my strengths. And I was trying to do too much. Like I was trying to fix too many things, as opposed to just really doubling down on what's already working, right? And really doubling down on just a few goals. He was like, and I resisted that too. He was like, but it worked. It worked. So he was able to, because he was at a few 100,000 and wanted to have a goal of $1 million in 5 years. And I was like, if you will follow this, like you will hit that number so much faster. So anyway, he was calling to say, hey, I hit it. I hit $1 million. And like the year wasn't even over, right? When he called in the fall. So I just share this story to let you know that it does work. And he was so resistant to all those things, right? Like he didn't want to focus or narrow on his goals. He wanted to focus on what he thought he should be doing, looking at what others were doing that were successful for them, or doing what others told him he should be doing, or what he, the thoughts he had created in his mind about what a successful person in his position should be doing. Let that go and instead focused on true desires, what brought him the most joy and the most excitement and felt the easiest, and focusing on his strengths, right? Like not trying to fix the stuff that he thought he should, but instead saying, you know what? Here's what's working. Here's what I'm really, really good at. And just embracing that and saying, you know what, if I go all in on that, that's going to give me a bigger return than trying to do new or other things. And it totally paid off. Like it totally paid off. And so I was so excited when he called and told me that. Just absolutely made my day. So if you are like him and you're resisting what I'm telling you, just know that if you're also like him and you're going to be open enough to giving it a try, you might be the one, reaching out, calling, sending in a message, saying, oh my gosh, not only did I knock it out of the park, like I hit my goals even faster than I thought was possible. That is my hope for you. This is what I love doing. Like, this is why I have the planner. This is why I have the system. This is why I have the masterminds. For me, the joy that I get is watching other people, and myself, do amazing things, reach amazing goals, but most importantly, like have so much fun and just get so much joy from actually chasing their dreams and going after what they want. So happy New Year's, guys. Go get them. You've got all you need. I've given you a ton of podcast episode resources. You can go do that free planning webinar with worksheets. Just go to planningextravaganza.com. And as a quick heads up, if you need even more accountability, even more structure, even more access to me, if you did not apply for the 2020 experience because maybe you weren't available for the Miraval retreat kicking off in January, or you just, waited too long and didn't get in for the application, or the enrollment, I wanted to give you a heads up that we are going to have another pod in the 2020 experience that will kick off later in January. It'll kick off virtually, that won't have the Miraval component, but otherwise, so you guys will be in a pod together. And you'll also be in the larger group, and you'll get to do all the other stuff, including, coming to be with us in June and November. So anyway, if you missed your deadlines on that, or the only thing that kept you back was you couldn't attend in Miraval, just know we are going to let 6 people in to come join us. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and submit an application. It's still up on the website. So just go to 2020mastermindexperience.com. Again, we'll put that in the show notes. Just fill out the application. And if we think you might potentially be a good fit, we'll get you all the information on what that looks like. And if you then still feel like it's something you're interested in exploring, you and I will jump on the phone just to confirm you're a good fit and see if you want to participate, and we'll move forward from there. And to the extent you already applied, and you received an interview but weren't able to move forward because of the Miraval dates, or maybe you did interview, but Miraval was an issue for you, or you've changed your mind. If we extended you an offer, just know that for you don't fill out another application. You just need to reach out to the team directly, and we will talk to you about that. All right, that's it for this week. Happy New Year. And I hope you achieve of your goals and your dreams and your resolutions for 2020. For show notes, downloads, and other free resources, and to keep the conversation going, head on over to hustleandflowpodcast.com. See you there.